Hey everyone, I'm Marcel, back with the Pulse. Today I'm going to address straightforward, head-on, if not the top question, certainly probably the number one question that I get on this channel and in response to my videos and in response to my NMN arguments and claims. How do you know? How do you know, Marcel, that NMN is making such a difference? It's probably just the diet and exercise. Right? I'm summarizing a lot of people's sentiments and comments out there. Those that haven't tried NMN, those maybe in that 10, 20% that tried it for a short period of time or a brief time, or even a moderate period of time and didn't feel success. But those of you like myself, in that 80% that do feel the difference, feel it's very worth it and it's very real. But you may not like my answer. You may not accept my answer. But I'm not ignoring you. Right? So it's not like I'm not addressing the question. I'm going to face it very much head on today. But the short answer is, with age comes wisdom. You only know if you know. Meaning, if you don't hit that wall, you don't know what it means to age. What aging felt like for me was a slow deterioration of my capabilities and my senses. I no longer was able to function the same. I no longer felt the same. I no longer thought the same. My mental acuity wasn't the same. There were just so many difficulties in my life that I knew I was aging. And it hit me in a way that you just don't feel at 40, 45, certainly not in your 30s. And you don't even have the slightest clue in your 20s of what's to come. But when you hit it, you know. You know when you know. And when I started taking NMN, this has been just over 2 years ago, I was eating pretty darn good. And I was attempting to exercise, but they weren't having the impacts that I felt when I started taking NMN. Within a couple weeks, I was feeling that youthful energy again. And then I went out and tested that energy, and I was getting results, and I was getting better physical recovery. And the kinds of things that many people report here on an ongoing basis and that I report here many times over and over. That feeling has inspired me to do all kinds of things and make plans to do all kinds of things, which I've spoken about here. The scale, the scope of what I'm about to undertake, because of the way I feel from NMN, I couldn't come anywhere close to thinking about what I've got planned without NMN. There's just no way. NMN made me feel younger, full of ideas, made me feel energetic, made me feel hot and cold differently, made me sleep differently, made me dream differently, made me sweat and perspire differently. There were just so many things. And then the physical things like the allergies and the dental hygiene stuff, everything that improved, right? No bleeding gums, as I mentioned in my last video. When you stack it all together, it is unbelievable. It's quite unbelievable. And I've tried to maximize getting a taste of it from NMN, inspired me to try to maximize it with more exercise, with better diet, and with even other supplements. It opened up my mind. I came into this, probably the biggest skeptic of all. I was just at my wit's end. I was out of options. I was losing not only my goals and aspirations to do anything at any point with music, like it was always a back burner dream. It was always something that I thought I would try again. But when I hit that wall at around 55, it was game over. As I said to Eric Graves at DoNotAge recently, 55 and done. I was done. And now it was a question of how long am I going to be around and in what shape am I going to be around for my kids? Because I'm an older parent with now an almost teenage son and one right behind him, 12 and 9. And I wanted to have and I still want to have a quality time with them. And I've gotten that. And I've gotten that thanks to NMN. That was the turning point for me. The things I'm going to take on are, I start the list and I have to stop because it's just so overwhelming. But shooting a music video, after the first of the year. That involves a rehearsal. That involves the organization. That involves finishing, obviously, the mixes, the mastering, a B-side, going to make a 12-inch, going to make vinyl 12 inches, because the only form that my song Much Better ever existed in was in vinyl form. It was never released digitally because it predates digital, and I didn't have an official record label to go back and take the masters and re-release it, which is kind of a cool thing now because it's never been released digitally, and it will be. But I'm also going to do vinyl again of the new recreated version, right, for digital. So that'll be fun. But that's a lot. It's very overwhelming. It is a lot. Just the video shoot alone is going to be a 14-hour day. It's unthinkable, both from a physical standpoint. Like, could I pull it off visibly? Like, hey, I'm no Tom Cruise, right? But I feel like, yeah, visually I can be convincing enough for my music to deliver that visually in the form of a music video. So we're going to go for it, I'm sure that some people will say, man, who is this old fart doing this, right? But my energy is there. The will is there. The drive is there. And I think the music, deserves its moment under the sun. Then we're going to plan to do this tour and go to Buenos Aires and do some shows. Well, you can't just show up with one song. I don't care how popular Much Better was and is in Buenos Aires. I'm not going to show up to do a show and just one song and out, right? So I'm going to prepare an entire album of material and a few B-sides to be able to do a good 90 minutes of performing. And then the whole album, the whole daunting task of that and everything that comes along with that, including the publishing, including the licensing, and then any other gaming opportunities that may come up, because the music lends itself very well to that because it is the syncopated 80s sound, which again is very popular. So I've already had interest from publishing entities just from some stuff I've put out there prematurely already the past couple of years. So this is reshaping the story of the Pulse. And when I started this channel, I was so exuberant, and I still am, right? And maybe more so now. But I was so excited about NMN. I wanted to tell everybody. And this channel gave me that opportunity, basically. But now YouTube has squeezed. The walls are closing in on NMN. Thanks to FDA's move, David Sinclair's move, well documented again on this channel. It's really made me think, what do I want to do? What's the story of the Pulse going to be going forward? Yes, I want to respond to you. Yes, I want to share these news stories. Yes, I want to defend, by all means, NMN as much as I can. But the migration, the inspiration from this energy that I feel from this molecule has got me ready to go tackle my back burner dream, which I talk about a lot here, but I really wanted to break down. I don't know that you guys understand that I want to do a documentary as well. Like, I don't just want to go to Buenos Aires and make these videos. We're also going to document it all and deliver it back to you. I'm going to share this in as high a quality form as possible. I'm going to share this entire story with you from a backstage perspective. You're coming along with me on this journey if you want to. So that requires another layer of technical capabilities and planning and logistics. Wherever I'm going, we're going together. You want to come with me on this journey? We're going to go together. Someone said to me, who's this friend of mine who actually did the logo for the Pulse. Before there was ever a Pulse, he made the logo. And then I made the channel after the logo. So the logo came before the channel, interestingly. And even the topic. When I first started Pulse, it was about German news stories in English, right? I did a few videos and then decided to tell my NMN story, and then everything changed. Well, this friend said to me, hey, your audience is going to love 80s music because that's the music they listened to when they were younger. I don't know why. It's so obvious, but it didn't occur to me in that way. Wherever we're going together. And it's my story is your story. As evidence of that, I want to share with you a letter from a viewer that was sent to DoNotAge a couple weeks ago. It's a fascinating letter. It's very indicative of many people's stories out there. And I really wanted to share this viewer's story. I don't have their name. I know it's a female, and I want to share the story with you. I had suffered from chronic pain, extreme fatigue, and hence inability to exercise, hyperthyroidism, and other conditions for most of my adult life. I had a birth defect in my digestive system that left me with chronic pain until I became vegan for 8 years and started intermittent fasting in 2011. I was a college athlete, but my health took a nosedive in my 20s. Although I'd made physical progress over the years and worked hard to keep my mindset strong, I'd always felt my body needed more support. I never gave up. Once I found DoNotAge.org, I knew you guys had supplements that could propel me to the next level of my best life. Now, you could say, if you're going to be, the skeptic here, oh, well, they made a mental decision before they ever started taking the supplements. I think that's important. I think if you're going to start a new routine, you need to be optimistic. You should have hope, right? I don't believe for a moment that hope is a bad thing, but listen to the rest of the story because it gets even more remarkable. But it's also of note that this person for 12 years did intermittent fasting and for 8 years was a vegan. It's not like they weren't trying to eat healthy. It wasn't taking them there. It wasn't enough. You don't know until you know. I heard about DoNotAge from Marcel's YouTube channel, The Pulse. After reading Lifespan from David Sinclair. That's cool. The other way around. I always thought that people watch the channel and go look him up, but some people look me up after they read his book, which is cool. Excited to start my journey, rejuvenating and supporting my mind and body at 51 years young, I started with your NMN powder and TMG. I was so excited I had my 83-year-old mom get on the bandwagon too. She is also taking DoNotAge.org products. I can relate to that very well. I have family, elderly family, also taking the same things I talk about here. I marked down on my calendar March 3rd, 2023, NMN started. I was so excited. 8 days later, I snapped my tibia in half in an accident. Wasn't planning on that. I went into surgery soon after, and I had to explain and spell out to the intake nurse what NMN and TMG were. I hope someday they are telling patients about these supplements before surgery. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's the hope, right? We want to join the medical institutions and not just be an opposing force. I kept going with NMN and TMG after surgery and quickly ordered more products from DoNotAge.org to support my healing. CAEKG, excellent for bone healing. Urolithin A until Nestle became a bunch of knuckleheads and messed that up. Fisetin for senescence and berberine. My goal from the start was to improve my energy and overall health. Now I had the added goal of healing my ankle perfectly so I could have the 6 screws and plate removed by the end of 2023. If I wasn't born with it and didn't need it, I wanted it out. Amen. Just yesterday, I successfully had the hardware removed. The photo shows the beautiful hardware minus 1 screw they couldn't save for me. I don't have her photo. This was a letter she wrote to DoNotAge. The surgeon showed me x-rays the week before and said everything was perfect. In fact, every x-ray post-op was ahead of schedule and looked perfect. They told me whatever I was doing to keep doing. Not only that, but after healing the initial break, I had more energy, vitality, and for the first time since I was a teenager, I had the energy and desire to exercise. She says, what? With a bunch of question marks. I had always wanted to exercise in my adult life, but had no energy to. I only had enough to get through the day. Oh, that just punches me, guys, because I've lived that life. With your supplements, I now look forward to long walks, HIIT workouts, trampoline time, and playing with my teenagers. These supplements have made all the difference. So her back burner goals were a lot more basic than going out and being a music artist, right? But still, no less important or inspiring. I've been so grateful for your products I have shared with others. I had my 14-year-old special needs son tested for NAD, smart move first, and when the results showed he was deficient, I started him on a dose. My brother, who is an MD, has MS, and I shared your site and supplements with him, and he has started on a protocol too. I've seen this a lot. People in the medical profession, like medical doctors, looking at this stuff and going, I'm going to take that too. I also often share your site with my clients. One of my jobs is as a hypnotherapist. I'm also an environmental scientist. I love suggesting they support their body and mind in a comprehensive way and check out your amazing quality products and affordable prices. I think relatively to the market, yes, DoNotAge has great prices, especially now with their bundles. And if you use my code ThePulse, as I've said many times, you do help support this channel. Honestly, I don't know how my ankle, and hence my year, would have gone without the DoNotAge products. They have made this journey so much easier. I've never felt the energy and vitality that I now feel being on these supplements. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and the inside of my ankle. Great letter that I think also, summarizes my points about NMN, the way that I felt. It's a parallel story that just happened. It's happening this year to this person. I wish you the best in your journey. I'm very happy and proud to have you joining me on my journey and the new goals going forward. Stay tuned for more.